greatest hits on Manx Radio. Another week and another classic album. And this one has been chosen by the new boss. Hence, I'm wearing my Chris Sully arm pads and knee pads to do a bit of grovelling. The new boss of Manx Radio, Chris Sully, is here. Hello.
How you doing? You all right? Okay. He's saying new. I've been here a couple of months now. It doesn't feel newish. This is really weird as well because you were my boss in Germany in the old company we used to work for.
Shh, don't tell
This is really weird.
I know it's a bit odd. It's not odd at all, really.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
It's, because when you go on the wireless,
yeah,
you turn back into Chris Pearson.
I do indeed, yeah, I know. So that's a throwback when I was on Radio Caroline and I was going out to the ship and the guy said, what name will you use? And I said, well, Chris Sully. They said, no, you can't. I was 19 years old. It's pirate. You could end up in jail. You could end up with a three-month prison sentence for getting caught. So you have to change it. So I went, So I was looking around for inspiration in the back of a van going down to Ramsgate and I was sitting on a cardboard box, Pearson's Apples. So I went, I'll have that.
Wow.
So that's where Chris Pearson was born.
Tell us a bit more about that Caroline stuff then.
Fantastic. 19 years old, going out to the ship. There was a chap actually who was on Radio Caroline North here off the Isle of Man. A guy called Jason Wolfe was his on-air name. Chris Boskill was his real name. Who in the 60s was part of the Caroline North setup. I didn't know that. Years later, 1985. I was working on a community radio station in London, and he was our programme director. And he came to me and said, "You're not bad." I was like, "That's good. That's a compliment, right? That's a compliment right there." He said, "I still know the guys from Radio Caroline. Give me a tape." And that's where the Caroline thing came from. And the weird thing about that was I'd just been offered a new job at work. I was working in telesales at the time, and I got back home and I was telling my mum, still living at home at the time in Kent, and she said, "Never mind about all that. Guess who called?" I said, "No idea." She said, "Caroline." I said, "Caroline who?" I don't know anyone called Caroline. She said, "No, Radio Caroline." It was a real two Ronnies moment. And 4 days later, I was out on the ship.
And that was, what's
1985.
85.
Boy broadcaster.
Yeah, so this would have been the sort of second or third.
Third incarnation of Caroline, really.
Caroline,
yeah. So you had the original in the 60s. It came back, obviously, with the Amigo reborn in the 70s. Mi Amigo sank in 1980. And then Ronan, the guy who started it, or Ronan O'Reilly, sought and found another ship, the Ross Revenge, converted 280-foot-long fishing trawler from Ross Fisheries, and that became the home of Radio Caroline in its third incarnation.
That's right, the Ross Revenge, because it was caught up in the Cod Wars back in the day.
If you Google it, there are other search engines available. There are some great pictures and videos. I found out the other day from somebody who worked for Ross Fisheries that it was the fastest ship in their fleet. Wow. And it was the only one that could outrun the Icelandic Navy.
Gosh.
And apparently there is some video footage, I've not found this yet, of them seeing the Icelandic Navy approaching, holding the nets up really quickly, and then accelerating away from the Icelandic Navy, followed by a Navy, a Royal Navy, British Royal Navy frigate, trying to get in between the two of them. So it was a bit Tom and Jerry. But
go and look for that. Now, classic album of the week. We've gone to, I'm just trying to check the year, 1996.
It is. Yes.
Who have you gone for?
So this album... Right, I like my dance music. You know that as well, because we've talked about it down the years. I like loads of music, rock music and stuff, but dance music is not known for albums, because it tends to be one or two hits on there and the rest of it is kind of filler and other stuff. One of the first dance albums that came out for me in the sort of the modernish era, house music and trance and that kind of thing, was from a group called Faithless. Sister Bliss, Rollo, Maxi Jazz, and Dido's brother, and they came along, Felix, they came along and they had this brilliant album called Reverence, and it was obviously the big hit on it was Insomnia, which we'll be playing a bit later on this week, which 23 years after its release still sounds awesome, as you well know, because you played it on Saturday.
I did actually, but I was behind the decks, or rather the iPad, at a party, and I did a set, and I haven't done this for years. I don't know whether you're still out there doing it.
No,
I haven't done it for a long time, and it was great. And Insomnia went down a storm.
Yeah.
So we'll play that later in the week, Mum.
Even so, when I was still working for the oil company, BFES, if you played this with a bunch of 20-year-old Scotties, they would still freak out when it gets to the instrumental break on Insomnia. They still put their hands in the air, big smiles. It's fantastic. But the album really worked as an album as well, you know, to listen to, and it's got a flow to it and everything else. Were you familiar with it when I?
Very much so.
So it's just a brilliant album. So we're going to play the title track from it today to get us up and running. Faithless, and this is Reverence. Wrap your ears around this.
My name is Maxi Jazz and I ain't no joke. I make you choke on the mic when I go for broke. When I come into a jam, I tear off my shirt. I have no knowledge of fear, cause I'm here to do work. Watch me ride, take my words in the face, taste and then swallow me. No chasing the devil, cause you're level if you follow me for quality. And I'll make no apology for linking my thinking with computer technology, cause this is like a modern day hymn for the new church. I search for the truth, I got a hole in my tooth, I'm uncouth, yes sir. I'm from a street university where we learn to earn even in times of adversity. And I will find the easy way out of a hard time. Petty crime sometime, but now I'm inclined to find a fresh direction. Kiss me neck, check out the funky section, cause this is the part where I start to impart words of comfort coming straight from my heart. I'm not a mystic, my views are realistic, simplistic. One special brew, I get pissed quick and get sick, so I don't do it no more. I won't find peace of mind rolling around on the floor. The point I wanna make is you could never escape from your fate. The mistake is to take without giving from within. You wanna know how I'm living? I'm cool, I'm looking after myself, and I could never place wealth before my spirit. I feel it's unhealthy. The devil creep around you so stealthy, stealthy till you get bold. Rush the golden before you're much older. Your soul is sold, where's it getting you? Competition starts sweating, your gold diggers setting you up, soon be forgetting your existence. Do you need it for instance? I have to admire your persistence in sticking to a game plan that brings you pain, man. And at the end of the day, nothing is gained. So listen to the voice within. I'll see you later. Pay heed to the grand oral disseminator. Yeah. Feel there's nothing going on until you realize the space behind your eyes is filling up with something like peace. As your thoughts cease and pleasure grows in your soul. I ain't a Christian, sometimes I feel like dissing them, but listen, I'm just trying to tell you what I know. If you would once relax, chill to the max, these words on wax will cause sweet bells to ring in your soul. If I say God is alive, I know you'd wanna know why babies die. Food don't grow wide, train smash, planes crash, situation mash, and slam bam, your fellow man, money's in fashion. It ain't rational, because damn it, he didn't just give us the planet, and it's wealth deep inside you, so he left a piece of himself. The Lord is in here, his voice is small, you keep lying and trying, denying the call from inside. You can't hide responsibility, so decide from today just how it's gonna be. Thou shalt have no other God but me. He can set you free, see, but you have to listen. And who's that false idol? I see you kissing money, success, and untold wealth, good health, and all you have to do is love yourself. It's a fact, you'll attract all the things that you lack. So just chill and get off the racetrack and take a pace back, face facts. It's your decision. You don't need eyes to see, you need vision. Continue to view the Lord as being separated, and you're living a lie that's been perpetrated for many centuries. I wanna mention these facts in my rap. I don't sing, but I wanna share the peace that it brings. My name is G.O.D., the Grand Oral Disseminator.
Greatest hits on Manx Radio. Another week, another classic album. Chris Sully, managing director of this here company, Manx Radio, is my special guest all this week.
It's good to be back. Good to be back.
Thank you. Guest curator, by the way.
I love that. That's just a brilliant phrase.
You
sound much more head-educated than I actually am.
It's good stuff. We'll come back to Faithless in a moment, which incidentally, I'll tell you, it takes me back. I mean, it takes you back. Were you actually on the decks a lot at that time?
I was. We were doing a lot of stuff. So I'd not long joined BFBS, the Forces broadcaster, and was being punted around the world. I was in Cyprus at the time then, absolutely huge. And a guy called Mario, who you know very well. Mario Chrysostomou, which means golden mouth in Greek. What a brilliant name for a DJ.
Doesn't surprise me.
Mario Golden Gob joined us. He was running a bar, and I started doing a dance show on BFBS, and he went, I quite like dance. Can I come in and play some? Yeah, come in. So he came along, we started doing that, and then we started doing the Basement Nightclub in Limassol and various things. And so we were playing the Basement Nightclub in Limassol, huge place, real good mixture of Brits and Cypriots and tourists and stuff. And when Insomnia came out, that was the one that we just went, yeah.
Did you ever get up to Ayia Napa to do it there?
Napa we did. So
Napa,
we did the first couple of summers. Then, unfortunately, it all went a bit wrong in Napa because the tour rep was murdered by the Green Jackets and stuff, and it also the wheels came off the wagon, and the band was on in Napa. So that was a real shame. But up until that point, yeah, we got down to Napa a lot, and Car Wash and Black and White and all those places. And it was brilliant because in those days, if you went up and you were anything to do with the Forces, there'd be huge queues outside. But because the bouncers knew the doorman, knew that you were going to spend loads of money, you'd go and go, guys, got 10 guys here from the base, can we get... Yeah, and they'd bring you to the front, and then you'd go, great days.
Amazing days indeed. Now, let's just talk about, we've mentioned British Forces Broadcasting, which we both loved and served for many years.
Indeed.
But you do a lot with the Royal Air Force. Tell us a bit about that.
I do. So I always said to my wife that if we got posted back to the UK, because most of the time in BFBS you're overseas, as you well know, I said if we get posted back to the UK, I'd like to join the Royal Air Force and do media stuff. So a bit like our daytime job, but in uniform. And that opportunity came when we got posted back from Cyprus in 2013. So I joined the RAF, did my basic training at the age of 49. Oh, that was fun. That was emotional.
I bet.
Did that, said, right, I'm going to do 2-3 years, and if I enjoy it, then I'll look at commissioning, and if not, I'll just stay where I am. And been away to Romania on Biloxi, which is a Baltic air policing thing with them. Did some stuff in Safe Syria, the big exercise in Oman last year, and got told by somebody, you really need to commission now. So I did that, and I finished that just as I arrived here at Manx Radio. Just for the graduation and parade at Cranwell. Didn't drop the sword or anything. Happy days.
Well done. Oh, brilliant. And so, presumably, if things get a little heated somewhere around the world, they can call on you and say, never mind all this radio stuff, come over here, Mr. Sully.
Do you know what? If you see me going off in uniform with a microphone and a camera, things are okay. If you see me going off and I've got a rifle in my hand, that's the time to panic.
Yes.
Really.
So everyone. The microphone is fine. The media...
Camera, not a problem. Pen,
rifle.
Keyboard.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll keep an eye out your office door, see what's on there.
Exactly, yes.
People wandering up with ammunition.
That's definitely the time to worry.
On that bombshell, Ronnie. Let's go back to this classic album you've chosen for us, Faithless. Another track, please, tonight.
Yeah, excellent. So we spoke a little bit last night about how very often dance albums were just a product, 2 or 3 singles, and the album didn't really flow as an album stuff, as albums are meant to do in their traditional thing. This, for me, was one of the first of the modern dance, trance, housey sort of stuff that did work as an album. The track we're about to play, very, very different as well from the rest of the album. The rest of the album's got lots of sort of anthemic Sister Bliss doing her keyboard stuff. This is a really, really different track. Really lovely vocals, bit of a bluesy feel, almost a bit of a Moby feel to it as well. So from the Reverence album from 1996, we're going to play Don't Leave.
Packing your bags like people in the movies do, all severe and not saying a word. And I'm sitting down here just watching you, and I'm thinking, where is all the love gone? Where's the love gone to? Don't leave. You got me hurting. Don't leave. like we used to do. I didn't know anything was wrong. And last night, well, I was thinking it through, trying to find who am I and what you need me to do. There's a record you used to play, there's Joni singing, best to be without you. And I know just what she's saying, help me, I'm falling. Where did all the love go? Where's the love gone to? Don't leave. You got me hurting, don't leave. You know it's never been easy to love someone like me. But don't leave. Where did all the love go? Where's the love gone to? We'll fly you around the world, give you what you're giving me. I should dress you up in pearl, finest silk to touch your skin. Don't know how to write a love song. Don't leave. You got me hurting. Don't leave. You know it's never been easy to love someone like me. Don't leave. Oh, don't
Greatest hits on Manx Radio with me, Marc Tyley, and him over there, Chris Sully. Or if he was sitting here, it'd be Chris Pearson. But we won't go back there. We've
Gets
done that.
confusing. Gets confusing.
We've
Even
done
for
that.
me, yeah.
So you got to get on the radio a bit more here.
Hopefully, yeah. We've got a busy summer coming up with stuff in the background, as you well know, sort of preparing reports and things. As soon as that's done, I can get down to having some of the fun side of things again and get involved with it, which I'm really looking forward to. Because that is the job. That's what this is about. It's about having fun.
Well, I think, you know, you and I both run things in funny places, and Isle of Man is one of them.
You said that, Marc Tyley.
I had to say that. But, yeah, the joy of getting on doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It also helps. I think, you know, being the boss, a lot of people will get to know you quicker if you do a bit on your on-air presence.
Definitely.
And they'll say, you do that as well.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it works. No, you're absolutely right.
I think it's a great thing.
No, I do.
I think it's a
and
great
we used
thing.
to, again, in the old job, BFBS, you get posted around the world. You'd maybe come up against some bluff old brigadier who didn't quite get BFBS, and 1 minute you're sort of maybe at a dinner party trying to persuade them about the ethos of forces broadcasting, why it's a good thing for morale and everything else. And the next thing, you're banging out some tunes and having a bit of fun on the radio. And that, to me, is the best thing about this job.
Yeah, I never listen, of course, but my wife does like Johnny Hates Jazz, if you could possibly play that.
That kind of thing. That kind of thing, exactly. And complaints where they rave on at you about, I heard something terrible on the radio this morning. It's absolutely awful. Very, very, very negative to the MOD. And when you dug down into it, you actually realised they weren't even listening to us.
But their friend didn't like it.
Didn't like it.
Their
Didn't
friend
like
didn't like it.
Colonel's son-in-law.
And you know, ultimately, with music on the radio, there's only two sorts. There's ones that you like and ones that you don't. And for most people, a radio station never plays enough of the ones they like.
That's true. That is true. That is absolutely true.
It's only on a scale, basically. And we find that with Greatest Hits. But we do try on the Greatest Hits show, sound like Boris now, to zone in on the bullseye of wonderfulness.
Oh, fantastic. Look at that. I'm going to get a T-shirt with that on it. That's
zone in on the bullseye of wonderfulness.
I wondered where you were going to go there for a minute, but yeah, bullseye.
There we
works.
go. Isle of Man, sir. Here you are. You've been here a couple of months. What do you make of it?
Do you know what? I'm really loving it. Somebody told me before I came here that it was the Falkland Islands on steroids, and it is in the
More
scenery.
trees.
Absolutely more trees. Absolutely, definitely. I'm looking out the studio window.
Yeah.
I can see them. But it is the scenery. I go running along Marine Drive a lot, and it is just the best thing in the world for clearing your head and just getting away from it. The people have been great so far, sort of cutting around the place, still getting used to it, and finding my way around and finding hidden treasures, which is it's brilliant when you go anywhere new for the first time. You think, oh, I could have done that, and people say, oh yeah, but while you were there, did you see this? No. Okay, well, guess where I'm going this weekend then. So that's been good. I'm really enjoying that, and yeah, compared to the Falklands, people say, oh, how are you finding island life? Well, hang on a sec, it's comparative. You've been to the Falklands as well. 2 flights a week on a good week to and from the Falklands. Slightly more.
18 hours?
18-hour trip via Ascension, it used to be. It's Cape Verde at the moment because the runway's closed at Ascension. But yeah, so slightly less remote on the Isle of Man, it's got to be said.
Yeah. It is something about the Isle of Man, and indeed, yes, you can draw comparisons with any other island in that people tend to try a little bit harder and make more of things generally. If you look at the arts, music, sport, the Isle of Man punches way above its weight
absolutely.
in virtually every discipline, in every form. Because if you don't get on with it here, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen at all. So no, absolutely, and I think it's great that we're getting so many sort of big names in the world of entertainment coming over and playing and giving people the opportunity, saving a flight, for yourself to go to Manchester or Liverpool or wherever it may be to see them. People are coming here. Why not?
Yeah. And that is right, and because to go and see, as I did, one of my great heroes, Gladys Knight, just a week or so ago, for 2 of you, with a hotel, with the flights, with the tickets, it's 400 and something quid, and then you have a dinner.
Yeah.
Whereas going home to the villa and back,
Easy.
even if it's 50 quid a ticket.
Yeah.
110 quid.
Who cares? It's good, and that is one of the nice things. And again, compared to the Falklands, it didn't happen so much down there. You didn't tend to get Squeeze or Level 42 or Paul Merton dropping in to come and play a gig.
But there's only so many times you can see Jim Davidson and
in the Falklands.
and still enjoy it. There's a limit to how many times.
That's true. That is very true. Once. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it all... No offence, Jim, and well done for everything that you did around the world.
Do you know what, though? The one thing I will say for him that was brilliant, and you maybe remember this story, he used to come out, so what we're referring to, he used to come and do things called CSE shows. If you remember ENSA,
Every Night Something Awful. Yeah.
The modern version of that was this thing called CSE, Combined Services Entertainment. It's still going. Jim Davidson came and did a lot of great stuff with the forces in places like the Falkland stuff. One of the nicest stories I heard about him, delayed flight from Brize once. I know that's hard to believe. He got taken. They said, right, okay, we'll take you to the officer's mess. He said, no, I ain't going there. Where do the boys drink? And they said, well, they'll drink at the Gateway. He said, right, take me there. And he basically sat with the boys that night and had a few beers and told some jokes. And I thought, fair play for that, actually.
Oh, yeah. His heart's absolutely in the right place. It really, really is. Let's have another track of this amazing album from Faithless.
Fantastic. So the album Reverence, released in 1996. If we played the full version of the track we're about to play, one, you would be hopefully impressed if you've never heard it before. It's you described it earlier, a bit Bohemian Rhapsody.
It is their Bohemian Rhapsody for me.
It's kind of an operatic. It moves through loads of different bits and pieces.
Here's the deal. We're going to play the radio version now on the podcast of this, which goes on live on Friday. We'll put the full version in there.
Good stuff. Okay. 10 and a half minutes, the full version.
The podcast is going on. It'll be in the podcast at the end of the week.
Excellent. But even the radio mix, this is fantastic. From Faithless's Reverence album out of 96, this is Salva Mia.
take a look at the world behind these eyes. Every nook, every cranny reorganized. Realize my best don't fit the way I feel. What's real? I need a mirror to check my face is in place in case of upheaval. Fundamental movement below. What's really going on? I wanna know, but yo, it don't show on the outside. So slide just below my skin. I'm screaming. Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! I need a mirror for my spirit, yeah. Can you hear it when I get weak? When the hammer's so sleep, not drowning, tumbling around and around in the voices. Like a crowd in my head so loud. I wonder what it's like to be dead. I hope it's quiet. Noise in my head like a riot. Any remedy you have for me, I'll try it. Just below my skin, I'm screaming. Help me! 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 I'm going deep, so deep that I can't sleep. The pills ain't cheap and the bills are steep. So I lick a fifth of booze and a spliff, try to snooze. But whose dream am I in? This is win or lose. Put down the drink, try not to think, let it go. Fundamental movement below and yo, reality is dreaming. Just below my skin, I'm screaming.
as promised, the full-length version, Salva Mia, from the Reverence album from Faithless. A fabulous album, and thanks to Chris Sully, our guest all this week, for choosing it.
I love the album. Always loved it, but it made me listen to the album again when you said, will you do this? And I sort of dug it out and went, do you know what? I've forgotten how good this was.
Oh, it's amazing.
And we've mentioned it a couple of times this week, and I will mention it again. It's a dance act, sort of trancey, housey. Faithless is the band that we're playing. Dance acts not known for great albums. They tend to be one or two hits on the album. The rest of it's a load of filler and stuff. This was the first time, and their follow-up albums, their subsequent albums, followed the same pattern. This is an album that works as an album.
Yeah, so many dimensions to it as well. We'll come back to it, obviously, because we're going to play a track fairly shortly. Just want to talk to you about your plans and dreams. Manx Radio, it's been here for a very long time. You know, Caroline North was out there and Manx Radio started up, and what are your plans for the dear old girl?
Well, do you know what? We just celebrated last weekend the 55th anniversary of Manx Radio, obviously, and as you say, throwback to Caroline and everything else. I'm very aware of the history and the passion that this radio station engenders in lots and lots of people, not just people that work here, but people that have listened over the years. It's a thing of people's lives. I get that. I absolutely do get the importance of that. What I don't want to do is be the man that in any way spoils that. But there are difficult times. There have been difficult times. And what I hope more than anything to do is to sort of negotiate and navigate, rather, those choppy waters of turbulence and try and bring it out the other side. And that sounds very political and rubbish. But I'm just trying to... What I would love to do, Mark, if I achieved nothing else, would be to get Manx Radio onto a stable footing so that listeners know what they want from the station and we know what the listeners expect from it. And I just talk about listeners. Actually, it's bigger than that because it's the digital stuff we do and everything else now. Basically, we use a phrase in BFBS. We used to use a phrase on the station we used to work for, Forces Radio, and I passionately believe this. Manx Radio should be the glue that helps to hold the community together. And if we can achieve that, tick, done. If we can give it some stability with the government, and I've been meeting ministers and chatting to people and trying to find out what they want and where they think we can sort of make things a bit tighter and brighter. And if we can do that, then fantastic. And for the staff, because it is a brilliant team here. That's why I took the job. I came here, and you and I have known each other years, and we went out, and I met people, and I knew Chris Williams, and even that didn't put me off. But I knew Chris Williams through Radio Caroline, and it is a brilliant team, and I love it. And I just, for them, I would love to be able to give it some stability and some fun, and just say, you know, my position on stuff is not why should we do something, but why not? Let's try it. Somebody comes to you with an idea. A lot of people go, why should we do that? No, why not? Let's try it.
One of the things that you and I are never going to hear again is a 13-year-old coming up to us and saying, "Uncle" or "Dad" or "Sir, please."
That's definitely not going to happen here.
Please, going to have a radio for Christmas.
Yeah, no, it's gone.
We grew up with radio, and we know that the engagement of young people with it is not the way we did it. There's no transistors under the pillows and all that stuff. It's
iPad,
gone.
Yeah.
Now, the way that they're getting music and talk and things through so many different suppliers, be it YouTube, huge as we know, as well as all the Spotify-type streams. When do you think all this alternative way of gathering bits of Manx Radio, maybe the podcast, when's that going to be properly included in the audience figures? Because at the moment, all they do is radio answers. What did you listen to on the radio? Pretty much.
You're absolutely right. And Alex, who is our sort of program manager, is very much of the same mind. And we've had lots of conversations about that. And stage one for us is to make sure we, as an organisation, are aware of that and how we're improving that. Because at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. It used to be you bought an AM in the day, medium wave, and then you bought an FM radio. Now it's DAB. Things are moving to that, and we're certainly planning something on that on the station. But to me, it's irrelevant how you listen. What is important is that you are engaging with us, and that is, as you say, it's digital, it's podcasts, it's online, it's good old-fashioned linear radio, as we're talking to you now, that kind of stuff. So it's encompassing all of those things. Stage one is to sort of recognise that internally and find out how we measure it, and then stage two is to make sure that that's reflected. Excellent. And it's not just Manx Radio, it's all the other stations on the island and around the world that are having to do the same thing. Radio 1, chap you know well, Ben Cooper, controller of BBC Radio 1, has completely moved Radio 1's measure of success away from the idea of audience figures, radar, which is this thing that counts the audience. And he's moved it away from that. For BBC Radio 1 now, success is about particularly YouTube engagements. It's about what's happening on Snapchat. It's about what's happening for their audience elsewhere. And we absolutely need to get there as well.
Well, good luck with it all. it's interesting landscape out there.
It is.
It's changed beyond measure. And Manx Radio is doing an awful lot, I think, in meeting those challenges right now, and loads more to come. Let's have our final track from this great, great Faithless album. What's it going to be?
There is a phrase in life, and it's overused, saving the best to last, but I do feel on this occasion we have done that. 23 years since this track was released, and you did it on Saturday, last Saturday, because you played a gig and you dropped this track in the vernacular of DJs, and it still puts a smile on people's face, and it's still a hands in the air anthem, and that, I don't use that word loosely, it is an anthem. Sister Bliss's keyboard playing is incredible. Maxi Jazz's vocals just lead to this point. I can't get no sleep. It's Faithless Insomnia.
And I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. We'll play the single version now. The full version's going on the podcast, which will go live tomorrow.
I'm ready for that podcast.
And here we are, 3:30 in the morning. I can't get no sleep. Yeah. see insomnia. Please release me and let me dream about making mad love on the heath. Tearing off tights with my teeth, but there's no relief. I'm wide awake in my kitchen. It's black and I'm lonely. Oh, if I could only get some sleep. Creaky noises make my skin creep. I need to get some sleep. I can't get no sleep.
Simply had to be done in all its glory. The full-length version of Faithless Insomnia from their outstanding album Reverence. My thanks again to Managing Director of Manx Radio, Chris Sully, for joining me as one of our guests on Greatest Hits. Be sure to keep popping back, taking a look at the website. There'll be more coming soon from Greatest Hits, the guests, from me, Marc Tyley, on your Manx Radio.